bit to talk about. Despite it being, you could even consider this like a bit of, it's like a Origin round footy, home and away now.
Well said.
Yeah. But the big fella, Anamo's stud fee, was determined during the week. Did you see it?
Yeah, 121.
Do you remember what home affairs was?
110.
Shit.
Yeah. I get it. I wouldn't even speculate prior to that being announced what price he would have been. I guess with Anamo, you look at the 2-year-old form and you're like, places in a blue diamond and a golden slipper, wins a sires, and obviously the dominant 3-year-old nearly wins the Cox Plate and then the dominant weight for age horse in Australia. So it's like, well, yeah, I get, like
he's a better horse than Home Affairs.
Yeah, and if your argument is, well, Home Affairs a sprinter who beat an age strip in the Lightning, it's like, okay, fine, but Animo was also a really good sprinter as an early 2-year-old. So I don't know. I think fair enough.
Mm-hmm. Here's a question I wanted to pose to you. What would you rather?
Get fucked by Animo or Home Affairs?
Would you rather Animo race on for a year or have him just plugging up mares for the rest of his life?
I'd love to have him race for another year. That'd be unreal because I love him and it's sad that it's the end of an era, but I think it's the right time.
Yeah. Well, in this scenario, I concocted in my head, it's basically like, oh, well, after that year, he still has his nuts, but they're useless. So you never see him at stud. So it's like basically you geld him and he can only run for a year and then you never see him as a sire.
No way in hell. I think what makes Animo to me so special is the fact that we'll be able to follow him for the rest of our time watching the ponies through his bloodlines. That's what makes him so special. He's a special boy.
Mate, I don't want to be that guy, but what if he's a dud at stud?
What if he's a Kementari 2.0? Oh, look, then
shit.
Then how bad could it possibly be, right? Kementari is like the worst it could possibly be. And then even if you look at like Extreme Choice, his fertility rate is incredibly low. But they charge like $245,000 a service. So because his progeny is so good. So it's like, I guess we'll wait and see.
Potato.
Will we see more horses side by Schnitzel or Animo in any given year? Yet to be determined. Schnitzels everywhere.
There are. Rightfully so.
Yeah.
Drifters, we have a pony update. Our girl, Mint Condition, went to the greener pastures of Deegan on, was it Monday or Tuesday? Yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah.
Tuesday.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, she'll have some stud value at one day. She sure will. She's got some promise.
Mate, she's got some ability. She's had 2 trials, and look, I've actually decided I'm a massive trial guy now. She's shown a lot of ability in both. She's so green, but once she balances up, mate, she's got some ticker under there. Albeit it was in a maiden trial, so none of the horses she was racing against had actually won a race as of yet or debuted. But she looks a racehorse.
I think so. If I was to just be, I guess, an outsider looking at this and I didn't have a horse in the race, the horse that either beat her or she nosed out got beaten significantly in its only run. So we might be getting a little bit hot under the collar, but I think rightfully so. Of the 650 metre trials, my favourite trial distance, she wasn't the slowest of the day either. So, she was beating some home on the day, which is lovely to see.
That's good to see. I don't care what happens. I just want to see her race. That's all. I just want to be at the track when she races. I don't care how she goes. As long as she gets through it unscathed, I'll be a happy boy.
I agree horse racing this weekend. We start at Hawkesbury.
Mate, I like the standalone country meetings, Hawkesbury and Mornington.
Yeah, and
It's
then I don't. The powers at large in Brisbane are doing the right stuff because there's another cracking race to finish the day as well. I love it. It's good stuff. Race 6 at Hawkesbury is the Hawkesbury Rush. Now, did you have any firm opinion here? 1100 metres list race.
Nothing too firm. I think what's interesting is, and I think I was wrong on the review podcast on Sunday, I think I said Overpass still had its nuts. But it actually been gelded before the Quokka, interestingly enough. Same's happened with Malkovich. So Malkovich...
About time.
Yeah. The trial king, never been beaten in a trial. Same trainer, Bijon Baker.
Same jockey.
Derby Racing, so same silk, same jockey, Josh Parr. He's been gelded, and again, he's looked real sharp in his trials. Draws wide here, but I think he'll lead, and maybe the geldings just settled him a little bit. So $6 with Neds if I was going to play, it'd be with him. But there's a couple of handy sprinters in this.
I agree. I think I gave a really minuscule push to a Very Fine Red a few weeks ago, and I think this looks like her target race at the prep. Second up, running behind Kalos and the Bopper down at Flemington. I think that's pretty handy form for a race like this.
Down in the weights.
Yeah.
Just don't know if you can trust that stable for a grand final.
It's true. But, she's getting 5 kilos off the likes of Andermatt.
Yeah.
So I think she's right in the game here. Tyler owes me one.
He does.
He does.
There's still a check that hasn't been cashed.
So Tyler, get her home, please. She can win this. $9. Yes, please. On top selection. Race 7 at Hawkesbury is the Guineas. Group 3, 1,400 metres. Any strong opinions here?
There's 2 that I was pretty keen on, and they're 2 in the market. The Fortune Teller loves a heavy dick, so if he gets that on the weekend, probably be my pick. But I didn't mind Hawaii 5-0 out of the Waterhouse and Bott stable with Hot Nash on. Second when resuming, and was a pretty decent run. Blow the cobwebs out, draws well here. Looks to be, from memory, a little bit of speed in the race. So it draws well to sit behind him. And yeah, I think $5 with Neds. Is he? $5.50 with Neds. Yeah, that's probably the horse for me.
Okay. No reason why Brazita can't win again. Meets Atmosphere better at the weights despite beating at home last start. So, and soft draw from barrier 5, I believe. Yeah, Dylan Gibbons in the saddle. He's hot.
He is hot.
Yeah, mate, she was fantastic last start. So I think she can definitely feature again. There is one for the baddest man in horse racing, Gerald Ryan. Shit.
Yeah, he's a bad man.
He is a bad man, allegedly.
Allegedly a bad man.
Mate, a lot more love. Now, you might think that her form looks completely and utterly dog shit, and you could be absolutely correct. What I would press your eyeballs or guide your eyeballs to is her spring form, which features her running, a couple of lengths away from Golden Mile on soft ground and beating home Cool Die. So I think she does have a little bit of talent. I just think she doesn't go a yard on top of the ground. So she's probably still fit enough to feature here. But at $16, she goes into any of my Neds same race multis. If it's wet. If not, then what's the point?
There is no point.
The Hawkesbury Crown, 1,300 metres group 3. I found this very difficult.
Yeah, I found it difficult, but
don't do it.
There's a significant jockey change on the horse.
Oh, you joke.
Number 6, Written Beauty.
This has to be D-Day. This has to be the last time.
Weak gutted dog, Jai McNeil jumps off. Magic Man jumps on. Now, there's a word in the English dictionary, hutch.
Yeah.
And next to that word, if you read the definition, is exactly the sentence that I just described. And the word is upgrade. And the Magic Man is a significant upgrade. This is the sort of race where Chris Waller just, casts a little spell. The Magic Man, so aptly named, work his magic, and just get a bit of mongrel into Written Beauty and get over the line. $11 with Neds. There's nothing else that I'm remotely interested punting on in this race, but yeah, she'll have some of mine.
Okay. I thought you would have gone the Jalay form with number 4, Tycoon Evie.
Fair.
So in the Winona Girl, she was the one in between Jump the Broom and Jalay. She was just a victim that day.
She was a big victim.
Like, she did absolutely nothing wrong, and she still didn't win the race.
Big victim.
Yeah, I don't know what Jump the Broom was doing. She needed some broom tips from Harry Potter himself. But
Nimbus 2000.
But yeah, Tycoon Evie, 6 weeks in between runs is an issue. They do space her runs a little bit, like 4 weeks in between runs, but 6 is a lot. So I haven't read anything or seen anything from the stable that suggests that she's had a setback. If she's had a setback, no bet. But on form, on on the page in front of me, I think she's the pony that I want to side with. So the Hawkesbury Cup. So the top 2 in the weights here, Skyman and Yonkers, are dual accepted in the exact same race in Brisbane.
I saw that. Chris Waller again.
So both of them don't have jockey bookings here. Does that mean that they're going to Brisbane? I have absolutely no clue. So anyone's guess.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you, honestly. I found this race to be incredibly difficult. I'm not going to lie. Floating Artist is the shortest in the market. It's just come back from a Melbourne Cup campaign.
Well, 2 years ago.
2 years ago.
I'm pretty sure he did a tendon.
Yeah. And ran okay first up. Against over 1,400 metres.
Imperial Lad and Crosshaven.
Yeah. And then comes here, $4.20 with Neds. I just could win, but I just don't think it's going to have any of mine when it goes brown.
Fuck no.
So I don't have a strong opinion on this race, mate. The one that I could get around is probably Hosier. If you look at its form on the softer decks, it needs a soft track. It's really strong. It's an out-and-out mile horse, draws well and well at the weights. But $11 with Ned's maybe worth an each way spec if I was that kind of guy. Am I? Not too sure.
Used to be.
Changes from week to week.
Mm-hmm. What about number 10, Lord Ardmore?
Yeah, again, looking for a race like this, you'd think a couple of runs into the prep. Has this been the target? Again, Chris Waller could work his magic with the Magic Man on board, and geez, he's getting home some roughies, isn't he?
He is, but $10. He was $3 favourite against the likes of Cognac, Silent Agenda, Palmetto. So I think you're getting 3 times the price to find out here. Again, soft draw, Magic Man, upgrade. Well, not really an upgrade from J-Mac. Or is it?
Could it be?
It could be. I think, yeah. Sensational bet, $10. Did nothing wrong, was only beaten half a length. Yeah. Give me the Lord.
You know what you just can't rule out if he runs here is Yonkers. You can't rule him out of this race.
I think you can.
He's got form around Diamil, who won last week, form around Bandersnatch, who beat bloody Jackano home in an all-age stakes.
He's retired.
Wellwile, who you backed last start.
Never again. Never.
Second to my guy, Tamer Lane. Chee-hoo. It could be another Chris Waller special. And Yeah, it'd be sacrilege to not name him on this podcast. $27 shot. So,
Yep.
Yes.
Mornington Cup Day.
Mm.
I think this was the last time that we possibly saw Crystal Pegasus on a racetrack.
Wasn't he just making us an absolute fortune, that prep?
Him and Marzo.
Oh, gee.
It was a great time to be alive.
That was just an out-and-out profitable autumn.
It was, wasn't it?
Forbidden Love.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't miss.
Mornington Guineas. 1,600 metres, set weights penalties, race 6 on your programs. Now, Elkington Road and the Fortune Teller, they're very similar horses.
Mm.
You have Elkington Road here, who was probably extremely unlucky in the Australian Guineas, was in and around that fall. And then you have Waltz Old Buy, who's the favourite, who I'm not convinced actually runs out a mile. So, do you have any firm opinion in this race?
I was probably leaning towards Elkington Road, actually, Hutch. Completely agree that the Aussie Guineas is a forgive run. Carries the top weight from memory in that Bendigo Guineas race that Waltz on By did win. I think that was a freshen up. That was 4 weeks between runs. Bounces off that to come here over 1,600 metres. Draws well. And for me, I'd probably trust that stable over Dashing stable, to be honest. Like, no, with all due respect. But, $5 with Neds. He'd be the play for me in this race.
There's a very promising stayer here in number 2, Grand Prix Piero. Won the Geelong Classic, and then they took it to the Derby and just didn't quite feature. But first up was only 1.5 lengths off the likes of Meridius, who would be competitive in a race like this. I was over the 1,400. Steps up to the 1,600 here. Craig, 1 from 1 with this thing. I think it could potentially get the job done.
Lovely.
But is my confidence sky high? No.
No.
The Hareeba.
Nor was mine.
1,200 metres listed race. Race 7. Does anything beat Jigsaw here?
It shouldn't.
I tried to find it.
It shouldn't. Karen the Enigma on the 2-week backup.
He's a speedy horse.
He's fast, but no, the Inferno hasn't even looked remotely like winning a race in about 10 years.
Actually, the last time he looked like winning a race is when I backed him against Wild Ruler.
Oh, shit. Cheese or Class has only won 2 races, the last one being about a month ago against In the Boat. So Cheese or Class has beaten In the Boat home her last start. Curran beat In the Boat home his last start, so you can tie them in together. But Jigsaw started, third line of betting, second line of betting in its last start against Imperatriz and the Billy Reid, and that was a complete forgive run, you'd think. Should be winning this. Drawn sticky.
Little sticky.
Yeah.
But he's a fast horse.
Great earn luck, just...
Yeah.
Come on, Buckets.
Buckets more.
Don't fuck it, Bucket.
Yep.
Get out the front.
Yeah.
Just kick away.
Yes. No more to add.
$3 with Neds, like...
Come on.
Like, yeah, I'd take the 3s.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, if he was 2s or sub, nah.
Yeah, okay.
I want to triple my cash.
Mm-hmm. Race 8 is the time-honoured Mornington Cup. You win and you are in the Caulfield Cup. Listed race, 2,400 metres. Now, this is a stinky race.
This is a stinky race, Hutch.
There is some fast and very slow horses in this race. Some real C-graders.
Yeah.
And a Melbourne Cup winner from about 5 years ago.
Oh, yeah. Do you know what's really cooked me in this race is the fact that it's handicapped. Like you're looking at the top of the mark, you're looking like your non-conformists and your he's a shockers, and I guess your vow and declares, and you're like, oh yeah, okay. And then you're looking at your right yours who was second to White Marlin over 2,100 metres, and then jumps up to this distance, but gains a bit of weight. And I'm like, you know what? In a race where I don't feel too strongly about anything, I'm going to try and find a roughie. And the roughie I've landed on is Herman Hesse, from the Mara Eustace stable, because their things just pop up in races like this to get into a Caulfield Cup. We know he'll run out the distance really strongly. I feel like he's been building to this. This is definitely a grand final type race for him to get him into the Caulfield Cup. He'll be on pace from that gate, so maybe he'll sit handy with Mickey D on board. So yeah, $13 with Ned's. Like, I don't particularly feel strongly about the race, but he'll be my play.
Yep. I've somehow landed on Benno here.
I gave him a look too,
mate. So you look at his I just had a quick look at his last prep, right? His 5th up run, which is what he is unbelievably. I can't even remember him going around this prep. 5th up run was in the Caulfield Cup, where nothing went right for him that day.
No.
He drew 18 of 18, and it was just an absolute non-event for him. I think barrier 11 is sticky. I'm not going to lie to you. But someone like Craig Williams, he could pop up and just be talking his bloody head off after the race.
He could
about a horse like this.
He could be reciting the autobiography of Richie Benno's life after this race.
I can just see it in my mind's eye. So there's
got
no
a feeling. You just got to back it in, mate.
And he's 1 kilo off the minimum. So why wouldn't I give him a crack when heavy 8s? Look, he's been proven to do that against his own age in a derby against the likes of Hai Totsu.
Oh, geez, wouldn't it be nice if he was running around?
But against open age, is he as effective? Unsure. His one victory out of 17 starts was on a soft track. I think he's worth a nice little bet at the $13.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Like, yeah, he very well could be. I'm backing Herman bloody Hesse. So, God knows.
Okay, we head to Doomben, the sunny state of Brisbane, which it was a little bit chilly here today.
Yeah, it was a little nip in the bruise.
Mm-hmm. Now, Wolverine just didn't turn out to go up here and win. She looked like it.
I would have been tooting my horn if she won. But alas, I think she can win here though.
Quick backup. She's been up for a fair bit.
She has been up for a fair bit. But like I said last week, mate, I'll say it again. At risk of being a broken record, they want black type for this filly, Wolverine.
Why is she up here?
Tell you what, she's gotten the visitor's draw though. Gate 15. That's not nice.
No.
And this is a big field.
Yeah. Huge field.
So, you want the likes of the inform Andrew Malley. Is he inform?
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
I was thinking, I was about to say the informed James Orman. Lucky I checked. Do you know what I'd love to see in this race? Is Jake Bayless in this race?
Oh.
Who's he riding this weekend? I'm a big fan of Jake Bayless.
That's a fucking great question.
Where's Jakey on? Have you been booked to ride, big fella?
No, he's no.
He's nowhere resting. To be seen. He's resting for the Sunshine Coast Maiden in a couple of weeks. Yeah, good boy. Don't want you to get suspended. Yeah, Wolverine. I've got it. I can't jump off it, mate. After running a nice second. It's $3 with Ned. She's mine, Toppy.
Yeah. What's Mark Newman doing here? Number 11, Street Gossip. Soft draw, barrier 4. Absolutely gave him windburn at Wyong last start. Hasn't done much apart from that, fair to say. But been around the likes of like Cool Jakey, Hawaii 5-0. So I think you can... That type of class could probably feature here. From the soft draw, she can definitely feature. So Street Gossip for me.
If you want to back a rougher one in this race, Drifters. I actually, believe it or not, saw this girl win in Hawkesbury a few weeks ago. Number 14, Beautiful Heart. Yulong Silks. Jimmy Orman's actually on board. and the Chris Waller stable. I actually saw her win. So, but $13 with Neds if you want to have a little throw at the stumps. But no, Wolverine for me.
Lovely. Okay, race 8. The Tails Stakes Quality Handicap.
Yes, the Skyman Yonkers Stakes.
Now
I feel like I've seen you before. We're going around in circles. Arameo as well.
It's that time of year. Chris Waller up to his old tricks.
Mm.
No idea where those two run. Even if they're in the field, I'm not backing them.
I've actually got a bet in this race.
So do I.
I'm looking at number 3, Cepheus.
So am I.
Oh, that's good.
Tell me why.
Well, because you forgive the heavy running at Doncaster, don't you?
Of course you do.
Before that, he smacked Waterford around.
In a Group 2, no less.
Yeah. So I actually think I might have even mentioned him on the podcast for the Donny, like at a big price. Like that.
Well, we went runner for runner, and you're like, it wouldn't surprise.
Yeah,
now
there you go.
Now, he didn't surprise on the day.
No, he didn't. He didn't, but he jumps up here, bounces out of that, $7 with Neds. Yeah, he's on pick here.
Absolutely he is. Like Tumbler Ridge, he's beatable.
Yes. Yes.
He's just one of those ones that just keeps going around. Tumbler Ridge. Yeah, he's beatable. Now, this is quite possibly the most interesting race for the weekend, and it ends the day in Brisbane, which I love to see. The Mick Dittman 3-year-old plate. Battle of the Booms, they're calling it. Number 6 got Golden Boom versus number 10 Chinny Boom. Racing 2?
Not racing 2, no.
I don't think so either.
No, there's a filly that we've sproked on the podcast before who gave Alf Cabin a run for his money on their heavy dick down south, number 8 Lady Laguna. I think she's a chance in this. There's probably a couple others. Midnight in Tokyo at a big price. She's a handy filly trained by Casey Fogden. So yeah, it's not a simple race, but I'm going to back the Rockhampton thing, Chinny Boom. Why not?
For the story.
Yeah, 100%. I thought she was great. Resuming last start, didn't look like she was going to win, but Benny Thompson found a gap and she went bang. So Chinny Boom is the one for me. Cute little filly. Geez, it's a big field, so anything could happen.
Exactly right. Now, Golden Boom should be undefeated. He was seriously unlucky that day. He was about 6 wide, no cover. Like our filly mint condition during her trial during the week. So he's obviously the forgivable one, but he has barrier 10 here. Where does he get to? I'm not too sure. Because I'm going to be honest with you, Declan. I don't really know the profile of a lot of these horses in this race.
I'll tell you what, there's pace on.
Yeah. And one of those speedy ones is number 4, End Assembly, who beat home Golden Boom. And if you look at its form, mate, it might only be doing the damn thing in Toowoomba, but it's doing it by lengths and lengths.
Mate, in case you hadn't heard, Toowoomba form is the best form.
Yeah, incentivized
form, exactly right.
So End Assembly at $8 could garner some of my interest, but it's going in Quinellas with Chinny Boom, mate. I'm on board. I'd rather back her, in all seriousness, second up against like the likes of Golden Boom first up. She has the fitness edge. So Chinny Boom on top, End Assembly, Golden Boom, the dangers.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
I think that's about it.
You know what? It's a weekend of racing where, I'll have a few throw at the stumps, keep myself honest, because the big stuff's just around the corner. No Group 1s until the Doomben 10,000, yeah?
Well, for me, no. I always knew that the Carnival of Adelaide was sensational because I have work to do in our Group 1 bet or strategy. Got some ground back last week, but there's bigger things on the line.
Yeah, there's work to do. I've got to keep ourselves honest. No, in all seriousness, we've got the SA Oaks next week. Is it called the SA Oaks or the Adelaide Oaks? Yeah. Yeah. And look, do I know what the market's doing for that race at the moment? No. Couldn't even tell you who's big in the market. I couldn't even speculate who's going to be favourite for that race. And I won't know anything about it until this time next week.
Will Kieran Maher, David Eustace have a filly in that race? Yeah. Will I be looking
Will I have a horse in the SA Derby?
Yeah. So will I be looking in their direction first? Firstly. Yes. Yes, I will. So
if there's a New Zealand raiding filly, will I be looking at that? Yes, because I've learnt my lesson.
So
jumping off penny whacker.
So why? To my detriment. All right, I think that's about it. These midweek, origin style of episodes, including the Morphettville Carnival, will probably be quick ones.
Yeah.
We'll get back into our, really good, sharp stuff once the good stuff in Brisbane rolls around. And then we'll have a break. But that's about it. Thank you for listening. Hooroo now.
See you, drifters.